The NFL Draft on Chat Sports is presented by Manscaped. And not just the 2021 version, but also the 2022. And with this year's draft in the books, it's time for our way too early NFL mock draft. Please do not blame me for the order. I did not choose it. Please keep that in mind. And remember, stuff's going to change as well, so don't get too mad if I don't have a player mocked where you want them to. Let's begin with the number 1 overall pick, the order based on the Chat Sports Power Rankings, Spencer Rattler. Oklahoma, a very strong track record of quarterbacks. Rattler a bit slow to start the year, played better down the stretch. We're projecting growth here with all of these players, and sometimes the growth does not happen, but the pure talent is there, the arm strength is there. Keep an eye out for Rattler joining a very long list of recent Oklahoma quarterbacks who get drafted. The quarterback class in general this year, great depth. I don't know who the top-end talent will end up being, but North Carolina's Sam Howell could be one of them. Now, he's losing his top 2 receivers, his top 2 backs as well, but if he plays well like he did this past year, watch out for Howell going early. So Texans get a quarterback at 1, Lions get a quarterback at 2. We'll get back to more picks here, but before we do, if you guys love the NFL and the NFL Draft, I want you to like this video. It helps us do more things here at Chat Sports when you guys like videos, so go do it right now. Number 3 for the Jets, Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback out of LSU. Now, this past year for Stingley was not as good. That is the unfortunate reality, part of LSU being, well, not nearly as good of a football team. I think he bounces back this year, though, and we're going to have a lot of round 1 buzz around him throughout the summer and leading up to the college football season. Number 4, Malik Willis. If the Eagles are drafting in the top 4, and it's their own pick, they're going to have to probably take a quarterback. Now, right this second, Willis probably not a first-round pick. But again, projection here. He's got a lot of the traits that you want. He played pretty darn well for Liberty as well this past season. So Willis in the first round, kind of like Trey Lance, kind of like Josh Allen, Jordan Love, smaller school guys we've mentioned on our way too early mock drafts. We'll see if Willis ends up joining that list as a first-round pick. All right, now to maybe my favorite prospect in this year's draft class, Kayvon Thibodeaux, the edge rusher out of Oregon. I think he might be the best player as we sit right now in summer scouting. Falls because edge rusher wasn't as needed as quarterback was for some of those other teams. But keep an eye out for Thibodeaux being one of the most hyped and most well-regarded prospects entering the 2022 NFL Draft. So who do you believe is the best prospect? Is it Stingley? Is it Thibodeaux? Is it one of those quarterbacks? Someone I haven't mentioned yet. Get your votes in for me in the comment section. This question, by the way, is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down, and let me know. I think a good mention for best prospect, Evan Neal, who I've got going to the Bengals here at number 6. I think he's going to play some left tackle this upcoming year for Alabama. He played right guard as a freshman, right tackle last year. Could move to left tackle this upcoming season. Either way, the dude's been a stud. I mean, I thought he was a better player this past season than Alex Leatherwood, which is not a shot at Leatherwood. That's how good I think Neal is. He and Jordan Williams, bookend tackles. That's some good protection for Joe Burrow. All right, Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State receiver, the not Chris Olave one, who maybe you'll see later. I don't know. He goes number 7 here to Carolina. Robbie Anderson is in the last year of his deal. I know they took Terrace Marshall. I don't really care. Let's get more playmakers for Sam Darnold if he ends up being the quarterback next year for Carolina. JT Daniels here at number 8, and I'm not going to lie. First off, the stash is horrible. Second off, I have some concerns around JT Daniels. Again, we are projecting a lot when it comes to these quarterbacks. There is not a Trevor Lawrence. There's not even a Justin Fields in this year's draft class. But when Daniels took over the starting quarterback job for Georgia down the stretch last year, the offense was better, and he played pretty well. If he takes the next step forward, I think he could be a first-round pick. And if the Giants are drafted at number 8, well, that means Daniel Jones is not the guy. Now, I want to remind everybody right now, do not blame me or complain in the comments section about where your team is drafting. This order is based on the Chat Sports Power Rankings, which several team spots I did not agree with. So please do not blame me for this. If you want to go complain, check the comment section, check the description. I'll put the link to our most recent Power Rankings article or video in there, and you can go complain over this. Keep us focused on the draft on this video, though. Number 9 for the Denver Broncos, Drake Jackson, the edge rusher out of Southern California, I thought he was great this past year, even 2019 as well, watching some of those other USC defensive line prospects there. Von Miller, I don't know if he'll be in Denver next year. Here's your potential replacement, one of the better edges in what I think could be a very good edge class this season. Speaking of pass rushers, George Karlaftis, the edge guy from Purdue. Not often we talk about a Purdue Boilermaker, especially a defensive one, as a round 1 pick, but we have one right here. The Falcons badly need pass rush help. Number 11 here, out of Florida, one of the first cornerbacks off the board, Kaiir Elam, a member of the Florida Gators right now. Look, Jeff Gladney's in trouble. Mike Hughes looks like a bust. Patrick Peterson has a 1-year deal. Minnesota gets a potential lockdown cover corner who I think has shown a lot of promise in his young career with the Florida Gators. Number 12, I'm going to do it again and get my hopes up for no reason. First off, I despise the Chat Sports office for ranking the Cowboys so low in our pre-draft power rankings, but it did put them in range for Kyle Hamilton, who I think is the best safety in this upcoming draft class from the very limited study and research I've done so far. Trust me, I got a lot of guys I still want to get to here, but I think he can be a potential true free safety. Mental development is getting there as well. I like Hamilton a lot in terms of a safety prospect. Maybe the Cowboys won't break my heart in 2022. In regards to safety, they'll do it every single year. Today's show is presented by Manscaped. When you go to manscaped.com/chat and use promo code chat at checkout as well, you'll get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products. Again, it is manscaped.com/chat. Don't forget the promo code chat at checkout as well, folks. That'll get you 20% off and free shipping on all their great products. The Lawnmower 3.0, it's the single best men's grooming tool out there. It's cordless, it's rechargeable, it's waterproof, it's got a very, very long battery life as well. A nice little light. No, by the way, it doesn't cut or tug you either, although if you use it, you'll probably get a little tug later on. So go check out all the great Manscaped products at manscaped.com/chat. If you want to package some stuff together, save some money, get the perfect package. Ball toner, ball conditioner, and oh, by the way, the best boxers known to man. All available at manscaped.com/chat. To the Raiders now at number 13, DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. About 290, this is what he's listed at thereabouts there. Really good athlete. The Raiders have been searching for a true dynamic 3 technique for quite a while now. I think this Texas A&M Aggie, one of several in this mock draft, by the way, would be a great fit for Vegas. Now, I got bold on this one right here. So this is pretty unique on my end, so I'll accept criticism for it. Carson Strong out of Nevada. His production's been really good. He hasn't fully been allowed to let it rip every single opportunity. There's been plenty of runs in that offense as well. But for a developmental potential first-round pick, remember the name Carson Strong for this year's NFL draft, or this upcoming NFL draft, I should say. And he is far from the only quarterback who we have to be aware of this year. Phil Jurgovich had some hype. I don't love him quite that much. Keaton Slovis out of USC reminds me of bad Sam Darnold at times. Too many turnovers, but he's had some hype. Desmond Ridder, pretty good player. I don't know if he's a round 1 guy, though. I like Jaden Daniels. He's got to add weight, though. He's way too skinny. Matt Corral is fun. I love him. He got to dial back some inconsistencies. There's been some bad games on tape, so if he takes care of the ball better, I think he could be a surprise. Grayson McCall is draft eligible, but he's also young and could go back to school for a few more years. So I could see him being a first-round pick, but maybe not right now. Dylan Gabriel intrigues me some, too. I don't think Brock Purdy has the arm. Same with the Tanner Morgan in that same range. Tyler Shough transferred from Oregon to Texas Tech because he lost the job at Oregon. I've seen some hype for him. I think that's overblown. And then Michael Penix is just a fun name to say and also played pretty well, actually, for Indiana. So in a very deep, we just ran through, 14 different quarterbacks who are worth discussing. A lot more than what we had this year. Who are your top quarterback draft prospects for this year's upcoming NFL draft, the 2022 version? Get your votes in and let me know what you guys think in the comments section. The Giants with their other first-round pick here, this coming by way of the Chicago Bears, part of the Justin Fields trade-up move by the Bears. Christian Harris, the pick here, the linebacker from Alabama. Dylan Mose had a big-time knee issue. Harris has been a multi-year starter. He does need to get better in coverage, but as a tackling machine, well, that's what Dave Gettleman and company tend to like. How about Kenyon Green now? This might not be necessarily a household name, but he was an All-American left guard as a sophomore. The expectation right now is he's going to make the move to left tackle, and I think he's going to thrive in that role. The Saints could lose. They're both free agents this coming year. Both tackles. I think that makes sense for New Orleans here. Now, Zion Nelson out of Miami. I've seen some good buzz around him. I have not done any real studying of these prospects yet. It's more been like, oh, I watched him because he popped when I was watching somebody else. Or, I watched him live, of course, like these top quarterbacks in the end. So keep an eye out for Nelson, who's getting some round one buzz right now. Early, does need to show some growth. Here's the other Ohio State Buckeye wide receiver, Chris Olave. I like him. I think he could have been a first-round pick. I would have loved the idea. In fact, in my early 2020 mock drafts, I like to put Olave with whoever took Justin Fields if the Jets had 2 first-round picks, for example. Obviously not the way things went down there. But Olave, a very good player. I think Garrett Wilson's the better Ohio State receiver, but I want you guys to get your votes in, especially you Buckeye fans. Let me know what you guys think here. If you could only pick one, who is it? Type O for Chris Olave or type W for Garrett Wilson. The Colts at number 19 at the offensive lineman out of Georgia here, Jamari Salyer, who's played some guard, played some tackle. I think maybe could be a left tackle in the NFL. The OT class probably not going to be nearly as good as this past one, but I like the idea of getting, Carson Wentz or other quarterbacks to be determined some help. By the way, this pick might be traded to the Philadelphia Eagles if it's 75% snaps for Carson Wentz or 70 and a playoff berth for Indy. For now, we'll give it to the Colts, but that might change. Isaiah Spiller, the running back out of Texas A&M. There's another back we'll get to here in just a second, but I love Spiller. I think he is a fantastic running back prospect. I think he's going to have a lot of NFL success here. The Colts still need a reliable number one back. I like this fit early from a talent and need perspective. All right, Darian Kennard, the offensive guard out of Kentucky. He was a college right tackle. I'm going to think moves inside into the NFL. Dane Ruger says he was a potential top 100 pick. If he shows more pass protection growth in a not very pass-friendly offense, he could go in the first round. Cincinnati has produced some very good defensive players in recent years. Ahmad Gardner could even be a first-round pick. Fills a major need for Philadelphia at the cornerback position. I thought he was the best defensive player on that field for them with several NFL draft picks, including 2 this past year who played safety in James Wiggins and Derek Forrest. I like Gardner here, back end of round 1. As a reminder, this second Eagles pick comes from the Miami Dolphins, part of their 2021 NFL draft trade. Zach Harrison, next up here, the edge rusher out of Ohio State. This back end of the edge is kind of a little bit tricky. Really great athlete. The jump has not come yet for Harrison. I'm going to bet it does, though, this season for Ohio State, losing several edge rushers to the NFL draft. Miami on the clock now. This pick by way of the San Francisco 49ers. Finally get him a running back. Breece Hall, who I think is a battering ram runner. I like Spiller more, but from that perspective, I am a big fan of giving the Dolphins a big-time need. Therefore, who could end up going in the first round in Breece Hall. Folks, help us get to 250,000 subscribers. We're not that far away as we sit here filming this. If you joined us for the NFL Draft, we're going to be live again next year. So get us to 250K. We welcome the roughly 4,000 of you who have joined us since the NFL Draft began last week. But if you want more coverage, more daily videos, hit that big red button and join us. All right, Tyler Linderbaum, the tight end out of Tennessee. Or out of Iowa, the center out of Iowa. I don't know why I said tight end there. I'm getting ahead of myself for a pick coming up. You'll see. Anyway, center from Iowa, a very, very good football player. Fills the need for the Titans as well. Let's get some more offensive line help. Now, Treylon Burks is a big body, pretty good athlete receiver out of Arkansas. Now, we will assume that Aaron Rodgers is still there based on where they're drafting. I will make note, Devontae Adams is a free agent. Maybe you should get another receiver on the outside anyway to pair with, in theory, Adams and Amari Rodgers, who will be their slot receiver long term. Number 27, Justin Ross. A major asterisk here, and you can even throw in a George Pickens, also coming off an injury, who I'm not sure will go pro now as a result. Ross is set to play this year for the Clemson Tigers. He's coming off a very concerning neck/back thing. If he plays and returns to form, he's a first-round pick. But I kept him back end round 1 because of the medical. This pick from the Rams for Detroit, by the way, they needed receiver help in a big, big way. Do you guys want more NFL draft videos? Maybe I'll spend some time this weekend watching some of these quarterback prospects or others. If you do, type 1 for yes. If you don't, this is America. It's a democracy. Type in 0 for no. Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams are both pending free agents for the Ravens. How about a big boy on the interior, Jordan Davis out of Georgia? I want to see better pass rush production, but he's a massive human who moves very well for his size, and had he turned pro, I think he would have been a top 100 pick, if not maybe top 50, given how bad the defensive line class was this year. Now, Kwity Paye was a first-round pick this year off the edge, and Aiden Hutchinson was actually more productive than Kwity Paye was over the past 2 seasons. Now, I'm not saying that Hutchinson's going to be just as good of an athlete. He's probably not. But for the Browns looking for some more edge depth with some free agents next offseason, Hutchinson does make sense if he's back and healthy after missing some time last year. Elite name alert, Sevyn Banks out of Ohio State going to the Buffalo Bills. Fills a pending cornerback need for them. The Buckeyes will probably find another corner, and hopefully they play better than Shaun Wade did last year, who I thought was going to be a surefire first-round pick, and then had one of the worst years I've seen out of a corner in recent memory. Bubba Bolden, the pick here over guys like Daxton Hill from Michigan out of Miami, former highly touted recruit. I'll make note, KC, Tyrann Mathieu a free agent after this year, so maybe you keep an eye out for a safety here in Bubba Bolden who brings plenty of high upside ability. There's the tight end I accidentally spoiled earlier. Jalen Weidermeyer out of Texas A&M, I think, is one of the better tight end prospects as things currently sit. It's all going to change. Don't panic. It's going to end up looking kind of stupid in the end. But Cameron Brate, Gronk, and O.J. Howard are all free agents. Maybe they fill a need early in next year's NFL draft, if, of course, they're picking where they're at. Now, I promise you, I did not get all 32 prospects right. There's a 0% chance that's never happened in the history of ever. So who did I leave out? Who am I accidentally disrespecting? Let me know in the comments, and feel free to tell me who you think I should want as we do our summer scouting here at Chat Sports for the 2022 NFL Draft.